I'm Jacob, and I'm going for a drive in the 2026 Lucid Air Touring with launch control. First time trying it, genuinely. Ooh, there's a bear. Oh my. Yep, it's fast. Okay, let's get to the horsepower and torque. 620 horsepower, 885 pound-feet of torque from 2 electric motors and a 92 kilowatt-hour battery. I'm back, fresh, recharged from my personal vacation with my wife. Went to Tennessee, tasted some moonshine, and then I also went for a work trip to the Corvette event in Spring Mountain, and now I'm back here by myself because unfortunately Yuri is sick today, so you're stuck with me. But the good news is I've got the new Lucid Air. We're 5 years late to the party, and I want to know what the hype is all about with this thing. First thing you may notice because of the camera angle and what's going on over here, this is really cool. I think this is called the glass canopy. Hopefully you can see this right above me, and if you can't, I will insert a shot right now. But look at this thing, it is very impressive. Although, I'm not quite sure if I would recommend getting that option because when the sun's beaming down on you, you can't turn it off. It just has this permanent tint to it, and I'm not sure if it's enough tint. It's been pretty cloudy this week, so I can't really judge that. It's also been pretty cold this week. Well, it's been cold and hot, but not enough to be able to really decide whether I would get this or not. For the impression factor, 100%. Although, having a little bit of sheet metal over your head in case you rolled over or something like that, definitely feels a little bit more safe, at least mentally. I'm not talking about a little bit of tinfoil over here. I'm talking about sheet metal right above you. This looks pretty thick. This looks pretty thick. You're probably gonna be okay, but you know, pretty impressive. Although, we got the funniest visors, and I do want to start this off with a visor test because the visors actually block a lot of your view over here. So I've actually been driving with the visor to the side for a lot of the time that I've had this car because it's way more impressive. My son and I call it a spaceship because it kind of looks like a spaceship, or at least what we imagine a spaceship to be like. So let's do a visor test. 3, 2, 1. Full effing pass. Good job, Lucid. And you know what? I kind of want to leave this to the side because this is really impressive. Next thing. Yes, it is fast. I did that launch control genuinely for the first time. This has a lot of torque, but it is very quick. So if I'm going to punch it, I am in sprint mode, and I'll get to all that stuff very shortly. Yeah, pretty quick. And I am on winter tires. I did get a lot of slip off the line there, but once you're going, I mean, this thing obviously hooks up basically all the time. Now, this is the Touring, so it's the volume seller. There's a trim below this, I believe it's called the Pure, and then there's 2 trims above this, with the top one being the Sapphire, and the Sapphire has 1, 2, 3, 4 horsepower. Yes, that's 1,234 horsepower. And I know all the hype was all about that one, and everybody did their videos on that one. Would have been nice to drive that one, but to be honest, starting here with the volume one, this is already very impressive. This is, you know, it competes with Tesla and things like that, Mercedes, I would say for sure. And a lot of what this car gets right is what Mercedes got wrong with the EQS. This is really nice to drive. Like, genuinely, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with this electric vehicle. It's been pretty stress-free. It is nowhere near that Audi or even that Polestar. There is a lot of customization in here. The screens are, you know, part of the experience, a large part of the experience because it is an EV and they kind of just have to do that kind of stuff. There's some party tricks here and there, so might as well start with that as well. There's a little arrow down here. If you hold it on this button, you let go, the screen just folds into the dash. My son really likes that, and then you push it, it comes right back out. Pretty impressive. I don't know if that will last for a very long time, the life of the vehicle. Lucid is a pretty new company. With a pretty new company, you're going to have some reliability issues. Just see my friend Jason Earing explained with his personal one. Just watch that video. Lucid replied, make your own thoughts. I have noticed, you know, little quality things here and there. Like I opened the frunk and there was a panel that, you know, the double-sided tape stuff came unglued. Not a big deal, but I noticed it. I also noticed the alignment on the charge port door. Not exactly perfect. You know, there's things like that and possibly other things. Well, like the door handles, okay? Might as well get into that. Although I do really like this car, it is not without its faults, all right? It's got a key fob, the lightest key fob I've possibly ever used. It's impressively light, and it has no buttons on the key fob itself. So you have to remember the series of boops and beeps that you have to do to open and close various things. It's not the end of the world, but it's something that you do have to remember. Now, I know a lot of owners are going to end up using the phone app, and I think a lot of them prefer that, but I've got the key fob this week. So this is my life with the key fob. I walk up to the car. Sometimes the door handles don't present themselves to me. It's happened more often than I'd like to admit. I don't like that at all. The door still opens if you push the door handle, but it takes away from the experience. It's one of those simple things you're like, come on, it's a door handle, let's not reinvent the wheel. And one time I even had it where, because there's no start button, you just get in and drive. It's just ready to go. I put it in park, got out, and then I tried to get my son out of the back right corner, and the door handle wasn't opening, even though I had the key in my pocket. So we're just staring at each other. I'm like, buddy, I can't open the door. Finally it opened. So there's weird problems like that I really don't like. Now, there's some cool stuff as well, like the packaging of this car. Actually, you know what? Since I'm in 360 camera mode, let me talk about that right now. There's a reverse camera up here and a 360 camera down here. The resolution is pretty good. I would say it's, pretty damn good, like no issues with that. You can rotate around the car. It is pretty impressive. It works really, really well. The only thing that's strange is when you're in reverse camera, you're kind of looking up, down, and then looking through your mirrors. There's kind of a lot going on. I understand why they did it, because the screen is massive and it obviously lends itself to a vertical top-down format. I basically just use the backup camera and my mirrors and I'm totally fine, but the 360 camera exists. So more on the bad things. Everything is controlled digitally, obviously. From moving your steering wheel, which is done through here, it is very easy to find, so thank you. And moving the mirrors and adjusting them is all done through pressing this and then adjusting it through whatever various buttons you need to do, and then you save it to your presets. It does work. It's not ideal, but it does work. It's one of those, if you buy this car, you're gonna set it and kind of forget it. And then the next person that you're gonna have to share the vehicle with will have to set it to their profile, and everything's profile based. There's no like memory seat 1, there's no memory seat 2. It's all profile and digital based, which is definitely not my favorite. So other things that suck as part of that as well is that your wipers are controlled with touch buttons on the left side of the main display. So that is a little touch panel. Wipers and things like that, kind of critical, I would say. It would be nice if they were just on the wiper stock. Now you can give it like a half press and it will use the wiper, so that's fine. But that's what you have to live with this thing. The defrost is over here, and the rear defrost, the front and the rear as well. And then your charge port opening is here, and your frunk opening is there as well. So the frunk you can open through there. You can open through the main display, or I guess the lower display down here. And then you can also open it with the key fob. And you can also open the trunk with the key fob if you remember the sequence of buttons. The packaging on this thing, I know everybody has loved that about this, and they are 100% right. So that has lived up to the hype. The trunk is really cool. The way that it opens is pretty wild, but the opening itself is pretty good. Not the most space, but a very good use of its space. And the frunk, I think it's got to be best in class. Like, I have not seen a larger frunk than this one from memory. Like, it might be something like, I don't know, one of those GM SUVs with the frunks that open, or maybe the Ford Lightning or something like that. But outside of that, this thing is very impressive. So let's talk about the seats, because there's actually, you know what, we can almost structure this review by the buttons at the top. So we have the openings at the top, which, by the way, if I push this button, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, probably not, there is a peasant blocker in the back, like the rear window, which is cool to have. So that is operated through the touchscreen, obviously. And then if I use my window switches over here, I've got peasant blockers, which are powered on the rear sunshade portion, which is really nice for the side windows as well. And then there's no way to block that sunroof back there, which again, it just has like that permanent tint on it. Not the best thing. My son loves looking up there and all that stuff. Seats. So you have to adjust everything through this screen. You can also do some of the adjustments. Thank you, Lucid, for certain adjustments, the critical ones, down on the side by the door as well. Oh, I just said Lucid, so now it's listening to everything I just said, and it's prompting the screen. How do I cancel? Just gonna exit somehow. Okay, there we go. I'll talk about that too. We don't have massage, but I believe it is an option on this one. Seats are very comfortable, although the one thing I've noticed, this thing's obviously a press car. It has nearly 10,000 kilometers on it, which, you know, for a brand new car isn't much. I've noticed like seat creases and things like that, things that I wouldn't expect in a new Mercedes, but it exists here. So even in the back seats, like where I am assuming a lot of people haven't had passengers back there, there's like creasing. So things like that with a newer company, I think you're just gonna have to live with those things if you want the experience of this. And with Chinese EVs coming onto the market, I'm not sure how companies like this are going to be able to differentiate themselves aside from the range and the power and things like that, because obviously the Chinese EVs are coming with these crazy power numbers and the cars are jumping and doing wild things. Everything's getting pretty luxurious from a driving standpoint. Like, this is very quiet, which at this point most EVs are. This thing's also very quick, which at this point most EVs are. Now this thing's very efficient. I just came out of that Polestar 4 where I criticized it for not being very efficient, not making very good use of its 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, and not getting very good range out of that. This thing, incredible range. I'm pretty sure it's got to be best in class, because with around 50% battery, it was right around 300 kilometers, and it's like 3 degrees actually today, which I'll get to this really cool screen thing over here in a second. But the range is fantastic. So this one is rated for up to 694 kilometers or 431 miles. Very, very impressive, and that's from a 92 kilowatt hour battery. So it's getting way more range from a smaller battery than the Polestar, and this is a bigger vehicle. There's way more space in here. You're not cramped in the back. I'm not cramped at 6'1.5". My son loves it back there, so like no complaints about interior packaging, range, power, drivability, the suspension and things like that. It's almost, I want to say serene. It's very, very nice to drive this thing. Outside of almost like a Porsche Taycan, this has been definitely one of the better cars to drive, and I'll send it through Cliche in a little bit, but let's talk about this screen since I've been alluding to it, the top screen, for a lot of this time. It's very well laid out. It's very simple. It is not complex. It's kind of like a Porsche Taycan. You have 4 buttons on the left side, or I guess an Audi e-tron GT before the e-tron stuff got really bad. You have your home screen, you have your navigation, and you have your music and your phone. And then you also, thankfully, have Apple CarPlay. It's wireless, but it has worked flawlessly for me this time. I get in, every single time I get into the car, CarPlay is already up. There's no waiting. It's very impressive from a wireless standpoint, because I've had a lot of issues with wireless CarPlay. I know Yuri has as well. This has been flawless, I would say, for that aspect, for sure. Yeah, so an update on the flawless wireless CarPlay. It is not flawless, and it's completely broken now. Ever since I filmed that video, right after I finished filming it, everything on CarPlay broke. I have disconnected it, I've reconnected it, and it just won't connect. It just won't connect. I've tried everything. I go through here, yes, wireless setup, I go to that, I go to here. I've done this like 10 times now. It just won't connect. I'll forget it, I'll re-add it. It just doesn't work. So, wired CarPlay is the way forward. Please, just wired CarPlay. Yuri's right all along. Back to the video with CarPlay that was working at the time. Now this has some cool party tricks. If you go to the navigation screen, you can kind of get that map thrown down onto the larger screen. You can do that with navigation, and you can do that with music. Really cool. You can't do it with CarPlay, unfortunately. I understand why they did it. Apple, wall limitations, I'm sure Google and stuff like that too, but the screen itself for Apple CarPlay is kind of small. I criticize cars for having massive screens. This one, if you have the map up, it's kind of really small. Like, it's a little comical, and I like the way that they tried to integrate the background into CarPlay to kind of give it that swoopy look, because Apple kind of forces you to have this rectangle. I like what they tried to do here. It's definitely not the biggest screen, but it's totally functional. It's not laggy. I can't criticize anything aside from that. It is very, very good. Apple CarPlay is always available at the home screen, so very good. Now going back to the screen at the bottom, because I'm so sorry, but these EVs, they're just screen dominated. That's life. We have some of our climate controls down here as well. We do have physical buttons for the temperature and for the fan speed, thankfully, as well as the volume. The slider works very well. And then we have heated and cooled seats down here. We also have a heated steering wheel. I have been using that this week. All of it's been working great. The sliders for the temperature has been really, really cool to use. There's no lag. Once you put your finger on it, kind of makes the thing bigger and you can go up and down. Really nice. And then if you move over to your settings panel, there are a lot of customizations here. Not a crazy amount. I honestly wish there was a little bit more because I haven't been able to find a way to change the music display on my main display in front of me. So it's always music on the right and my distance on the left and then my speedo in the middle. So outside of that, I haven't been able to change anything. And the frustrating thing is that I can't get battery percentage and range at the same time. So it's kind of strange how they did that. You have to choose one or the other. I don't know why they did that. There's plenty of screen real estate for that. Lucid, quick update over the air. That would be nice. Again, not criticizing the range, just the display there. And then let's talk about drive modes, because we have smooth, swift, and sprint. Because it's an EV, they gotta be different, okay? You can assume which one's faster and which one's slower. So you default to smooth. I've been driving that most of the time. For the launch I just did, I'm in sprint mode, and sprint mode is definitely way faster than smooth and swift. Swift seems to be, at least for me, just like a lost drive mode. It's just whatever. So it's either smooth or sprint for me. Now, what I actually hate about the way that this drives is the regen. So every time you click on one of the drive modes, you're able to adjust regen, which is great. Thank you for that. Although I do wish that it would just kind of save the mode permanently. Like, it would be nice. There is a way to do it through the settings, and I saved it to off, but then sometimes when I get in, it's still in the middle mode, so I'm not sure. Maybe that's like a journalist problem, but once you own it, hopefully it saves to your profile and you use an app or something. I don't know, but I tried my best to make it save that. Anyways, so we have off, standard, and high. Now, off is my preferred one because there's just a little bit of regen. Even though this gauge is lying to me, I can feel a little bit of regen. There's nothing going into the charge, because if I put this into neutral very quickly, now my gauge went slightly into the power level and I can feel the car have less resistance. So it's like a fake off, I believe, because it looks like that in the gauge cluster in the way that I can feel everything. So putting this back into drive, car starts to slow down a little bit. Now, I do want a little bit of regen, which I would assume would be standard, but as soon as I'm in standard, it's too much. Like, I'll just let off, and it's not linear, so I can see it in the gauge and I can feel it, and it kind of varies. I don't like it. It is one pedal, so it's gonna come to a complete stop right now. That's why I keep checking my mirrors. And there. Took a while, but driving normally when I'm at speed, I've noticed it just like, it's too aggressive. There's no linearity to it. So I haven't even touched high because I already don't like standard. So, you know, some paddles to control that would have been nice, like some other manufacturers, or at least, I don't know. See, now I went to the most, and it's just like, it's like stomping on the brakes downhill. I know some people like that. Definitely the worst part of this car for me is the way that the regen works. So I would just like a mode between off and standard, to be honest. I think they can compute that. But let me know if you guys own a Lucid, which drive mode you prefer, and if you've driven other EVs, how it compares in your personal opinion, because I just told you mine. Steering, great. Controls on the steering wheel, a little bit strange, but very easy to get used to. Everything takes a little bit more push to turn on than I would expect compared to other manufacturers. Like, there's more force required, but thankfully it's not like touch buttons. Using the PRND stock, the drive selector stock, takes more effort because you kind of give it a bigger swing, like the wipers as well. So it's just little differences where you notice that this company is doing its own thing, and they're not sharing parts with other companies. They're doing everything themselves, so they're figuring it out. But thankfully, they've done things like, oh, I can still touch the vents and direct where the climate control is going to blow the air. Where other legacy automakers are taking stuff away like that. It's just like, come on, what are you guys doing? Like this is the way forward. Letting us have some touch, which honestly, letting us have some tactility, which honestly I could use a little bit more, but it hasn't been a frustrating experience. There is also the voice aspect, which I haven't really used, but let's just try it out. Hey Lucid, set the temperature to 22 degrees.
Setting temperature to 22 degrees Celsius.
Cool, so that worked. And yes, it's an EV, but you're still gonna need fluids and things like that. So hit up TotalEnergies, use our link, see what fluids your electric vehicle or even your gas vehicle is going to need. Charging, last one. Really cool display for that. I really like that you could just precondition the battery. You could just press this button right here. It's so simple. A lot of companies screw that up because you're forced to use the built-in navigation to navigate yourself to a fast charger, and then it'll do that. But because this one's not Google-based, you can kind of get away with using your own. You can use CarPlay to navigate to the destination you want to, and then you can click the button to precondition the battery when you think it's appropriate. So I like having that control, even though I might be incorrect in the time that I precondition the battery. I just like having that control. Now, something they've also screwed up, the cup holders, of all things. The grip level is way too high. Like, I've got a medium cup here, pretty standard cup size, and the grip level, like getting it in and out, I'm terrified of just spilling the coffee, so I have to like wiggle it out every single time. I don't think we've had a cup holder fail in a very long time, but I'm gonna give this one a fail. I really don't like that. What is a pass though, is the wireless charger. It holds my phone in really, really well down here, and it's laid out really well. You can also cover it with this nice cover, except you gotta kind of move your arm slightly awkwardly to get to it because it's just got a little bit too much reach there, but putting it away is pretty easy, but just getting it back out is slightly complicated, but it does look nice. Fit and finish, materials in here. Overall, very good, although the dashboard looks cheap. Like, it looks like that like GM plastic, but it's not. You touch it, it's soft. It just has that look to it because it's over here as well. Here is really nice. Down here is also okay. The color contrast is also pretty good. And the wood or wood-esque finishes, I'm pretty sure it's real wood, looks quite nice wherever they put it. It's like a nice dark, but mixed in with a little bit of lightness. Totally don't mind that at all. And this thing also has DreamDrive or DreamDrive Pro as an option. That is basically your adaptive cruise and lane keep assist. It does not let you use it on, I guess, rural roads or anything that isn't a highway, which has been a little bit annoying. Like even just, 2-lane highway roads where the speed limit's like 90, it should definitely let you use it there, but it doesn't. You can just use adaptive cruise. But when you're on the main highway, it'll go into the special mode. You kind of have to double press the button or long press it, and it works really, really, really well. No complaints about that whatsoever. So before I send it through Cliche Corner, let's talk about looks really quickly. Because this thing's been out for a while, hasn't been updated in any looks department. I think it looks pretty good. Doesn't look anything like crazy, anything too good. It's what the Mercedes EQS wanted to be, is the best way that I can put it. It looks pretty damn good from a Mercedes EQS perspective. But the wheels do suck. These are the 19-inch wheels. It's a very safe play. It's like, I guess, not turbine-esque, but just, they look very EV-like. I would say that's my biggest criticism is like, do some cooler wheels. But there are higher trims that do some cooler wheels, obviously. But if you want the most range, you have to get these 19-inch wheels. Speaking of wheels and tires, the Continental recommended tire would be the Secure Contact AW, Continental's newest all-weather tire. Now, I am on winter tires, so my send into Cliche Corner will be appropriate, let's put it that way. You can also dial back the traction control system. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it in the sprint mode or whatever it's called. And the steering's very nice, handles pretty well. It's cutting power on me for sure, but this is pretty quick. I almost feel like it's giving me too much front motor and I'd like more rear motor, but I'm sure that's, whoa. I'm sure that's what the upper trims are for. Hopefully you guys saw that. You could definitely tell the power and the G-forces by just how much my visor opens. But yeah, suspension, very good. I don't think it's adaptive in terms of it doesn't change between the drive modes, but I've had no complaints about it whatsoever. This has been really nice to drive. Now, charge time, you're probably interested. I think it'll do 10 to 80%. Well, I don't think they list that as an official stat, but it'll give you up to 350 kilometers of range, I think in 15 minutes. So that's a lot, but that's up to 350 kilowatts. That's like, you know, your super ideal scenario that we all know in the real world barely ever, I don't want to say impossible, but barely ever exists because I've never seen it. But this is on 900 volt architecture, which I think is the only company, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure is the only company that is on that 900 volt. I think the fastest everybody else has done is 800 volt. Maybe the Chinese cars have, I don't know, haven't experienced those yet. But it's gonna be really interesting when the Chinese cars come here, at least to Canada, who knows what's happening in the States. Because, like I said earlier, I wonder how companies like this, with the little bear on the side, because that's what the California state flag or the state or official state animal or whatever that is, that's why that's there, because this company is from California. So I'll be curious to see how companies like this start to really differentiate themselves, because the Chinese stuff apparently is pretty good from all the stuff people have been talking about and seeing. So I think price is going to be a really big factor for a lot of these EVs, because let's face it, this thing is an appliance. This is an A to B car. I don't think people are striving to get one of these things, or at least EVs in general. Maybe, you know, people still want, I don't know, maybe like a Tesla Model S Plaid, a Sapphire version of this, but like the regular versions of all of these EVs, I don't think people are gonna be like, that's my dream car, I need that one. So I think price is gonna be the number one thing, followed by range, followed by horsepower. Let me know if you think I'm wrong or right on that, especially if you're shopping, because cars are expensive these days. Let's get to the price of this thing. So this one, the second lowest or third highest trim, depending on which way you look at it, this one starts at $112,800. And this one is equipped approximately $144,000, I believe. I didn't get a spec sheet, so I had to guess on that and kind of spec it out myself. That's a heck of a lot of money. And these things have been out for about 5 years now. And on the used market, I think they're in the relatively affordable area. Again, I say that with massive quotations because they're in like the 80s, 90s, I believe. Still a lot of money, especially for a used EV, but this is a very nice car. Definitely one of the best EVs I've driven outside of like a Porsche Taycan. I haven't driven the new Tesla Model S Plaid or the new Tesla Model 3 yet, or the whatever Model Y as well, but this is very impressive. It's very well thought out. It still has nice legacy things like Apple CarPlay. Definitely has its issues, and the biggest issues are the things that you interact with the most every day. At least with the key fob, it's like just make the simple things work. Just make the door handles work. Add a couple buttons to the key fob. Just make things that you use every single day a little bit easier, and this thing would be nearly faultless. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. I'm sure Yuri will be back, although I do have to travel next week again to Mustang Week. Follow my content on Instagram. I'll be going with Continental. It's really Jakub, TheStraightPipes, and follow Yuri as well at Yuri Tershin. See you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.